At the two sessions, the central government has shown staunch support for Hong Kong to speed up the enactment of Article 23 of Basic Law. Any comments on recent criticism against Article 23, like more restrictions on civil liberties?
All societies, all countries have laws similar to what Hong Kong is now enacting under Article 23 of our mini constitution, which is our basic law. To put everything into context, I think it's useful to firstly compare what Hong Kong is now proposing to what before 1997, when Hong Kong was governed by the British Hong Kong colonial government, what they actually practiced in those days. People of my generation, born, brought up, lived in Hong Kong, have vivid memories of how the special branch, a force attached to the police department in Hong Kong by the British government in Hong Kong, pretty wide powers of arresting and detaining people that they considered as a threat to the national security of the UK in Hong Kong. And these people included Hong Kong residents, mainland Chinese residents, Taiwan residents, and Soviet Union residents. This detention facility was located in a place in the western part of Hong Kong Island called Mount Davis, and the building is still there. In local Cantonese, it's called Ba O, literally translated as White House. The detainees were detained without trial. They didn't get a chance to see a judge, and then they were deported after sometimes long and sometimes short periods of detention. So, comparison between what we are proposing now to what the British Hong Kong government actually did before 1997 would be very useful. Secondly, in the same time frame, comparing what Hong Kong is proposing now to what other countries already have in their statute books, whether it's the United States, the United Kingdom, or closer to home, Japan, Korea, or Singapore. A lot of people like to compare Hong Kong, Singapore, and Singapore and Hong Kong. And so Singapore might be a good starting point. Singapore has Internal Security Act, and last year they just enacted the Foreign Interference Countermeasure Act. And under this act, which is new, it's up to a minister to decide whether someone should be designated as a politically susceptible person, susceptible to foreign interference. Under the proposed Hong Kong law, all who are accused of committing an offense under the law will be tried by a judge in our independent judiciary. We could also compare the question of penalties. Hong Kong doesn't have capital punishment. And we know in Asia, Japan, Taiwan, and Singapore all have capital punishment.
What Hong Kong should do facing ongoing attacks from anti-China forces?
I think it's everyone's consensus nowadays, not just Hong Kong, but all countries and societies in Hong Kong live in an increasingly competitive and increasingly complex environment. So I think we should be objective, and we should not be influenced by politically oriented commentaries, whether these are commentaries from politicians outside Hong Kong or commentaries by not impartial media in the West.